Hey everyone, today is a pretty exciting day. Today is 60 days out until we go to Walt Disney World, and that makes it a really important day because today is the first day that we can go ahead and book our Fastpass Plus tickets for visiting the parks. I'm really excited. I'm kind of a crazy planning person, so I've been waiting for this day since booking the trip, I think 26 days ago, and it's really crazy that I seem to know this. Now, we can only book our Fastpass Pluses 60 days out from visiting because we're staying in a Walt Disney World hotel. So what is Fastpass Plus? Fastpass Plus is an upgraded version of the original Fastpass. If you visited Walt Disney World in the past or any of the other Disney parks around the world, you'll know that against a lot of the big rides, they have booths where you can go ahead and put your ticket in for that day and get a fast pass back, which will tell you a time when you can return to that ride to go ahead and jump the queue so that you can go ahead and ride the ride faster, which is pretty cool. Now, Disney World don't actually do this anymore. They have a Fastpass Plus system instead, which is completely run from their app, the My Disney Experience app, which you can get on your Android and iOS smartphone, or through their website as well. And you can go ahead and book your fast passes on that app in the park and from home. Now, some people might be a little bit concerned about when they are at the park and booking Fastpass Pluses at the park using the application, especially if they're coming from abroad and they're going to be using their mobile device for roaming. So in the Walt Disney World parks, the parks have Wi-Fi, so you should be able to go ahead and connect to Wi-Fi in the park so that you can make your Fastpass Plus booking, which is pretty cool. I've read the Wi-Fi itself can be a little bit shaky in particular areas, but that's generally just how Wi-Fi works. If you're inside and away from the receiver, it's going to be a little bit harder for you to get signal. So there are some caveats for you going ahead and booking fast passes in advance. You can only actually book 3 per day, and you can only book those 3 for one park. You can't split them up for all the different parks in one day. So you really are making some commitment to be in a park that day, or just miss out on those fast passes if you decide not to go to that park. So we're 60 days out right now, and that means that I can go ahead and book Fastpass Pluses from today for my entire trip. So even though my trip is 60 days out, so day 1 of my trip is 60 days out from today, I can actually go ahead and book all my fast passes for the entire trip. That's pretty good because it means I only need to do this whole Fastpass Plus booking experience once. But it obviously means that people who book their trip to start a week before mine have had extra time to go ahead and book Fastpass Pluses ahead of me. And I guess that's why I'm a little bit worried that we might not get some of the fast passes for the times that we want to get them, but we have some backup options. Now, how we've gone ahead and decided which fast passes we want on which days is actually a matter of chance more than a matter of huge pre-planning. And that was because we've actually booked our Disney World trip a little bit late. Most people book their trip about 180 days in advance or even longer before because they want to make use of things like the advanced dining reservations and those kind of things. Now, when we booked our trip, it was really key to go ahead and get the dining reservations that were left. So the days that we're going to particular parks is not really depicted by any kind of intelligent planning as much as we could get dining reservations for those particular days. As it happens, we did actually want to dine and visit the Magic Kingdom more than most other parks, so it's worked out that way. We've actually got 5 days that we're going to be in Magic Kingdom, 3 in Hollywood Studios, 3 in Epcot, and 2 in Animal Kingdom. That might sound a little bit weird, especially because Hollywood Studios has got massive renovations right now. The reason why we're spending so much time in Hollywood Studios is because they have Fantasmic, and that's the best show in the universe. I've done another thing with the dining reservation. Our dining reservations we have actually put in the middle of the day, and the reason why we wanted to go ahead and do this is because lots of stuff happens in the evening. The nighttime spectaculars in Disney World are great, so I didn't want to put dining reservations that was going to clash with nighttime spectaculars. Not only that, but we thought it would be good to have our table service reservation as our lunchtime meal because it means that we get a really good break in the day and some time to relax. Now, because we have put those dining reservations in the middle of the day, it makes sense for us to go ahead and pack our Fastpass Pluses around them for 2 reasons really. First of all, it means that we are only tied to be in one park for a portion of the day. So we know that if we want to go ahead and visit a park later on in the day, we can just go ahead and do that. I also watched a lot of vlogs and read a lot of information on when to book fast passes. And it seems the key time to book fast pass is obviously when the park is at its busiest. And that's sometimes for different parks, but it's sometimes between 11 and 5 p.m. Now, our table service dining reservations are mostly somewhere between midday and 2 p.m. So what we've decided to do is to book one fast pass before our lunchtime table service slot and do 2 fast passes after. This is a general rule because some days things are different because we have Fantasmic dining reservations. We have a dining reservation that has to be in the evening because, again, we booked late and we couldn't get one earlier in the day. And one thing I didn't mention earlier is you can actually only book 1 fast pass per hour slot. So I'm not too sure when exactly you can start. I'm sure you can probably start them on the half hour. But say, for instance, I have booked a fast pass from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. I can only book another fast pass for that day from 3 p.m. onwards. I can't book it to start at 2:30. That just doesn't work. Now I can actually go ahead and show you guys the plan I've made for our trip, and lots of people go ahead and write some sort of spreadsheet, some sort of Excel spreadsheet for their plans. I haven't decided to do that actually. I have an Evernote list just because I find it gives more flexibility for writing everything that I need. And I also have a calendar. I set up a special calendar in Google, and I shared this with my brother who's coming along as well, so that we could block out time in a day to show exactly where we're going to be for each time. So we'll have a small look. Sorry, it's kind of a little bit complicated and really, really small. But this Hollywood Studios day is a perfect day, right? So we get to Hollywood Studios and it opens at 9 a.m. At 11 we have we hopefully will book a Fast Pass Plus. At 12 we're going to be at Mama Melrose's Restaurant Italiano for lunch, and then we'll go ahead and book 2 more fast passes in the afternoon, and I've booked out that time. So we're going to be using this guide later when we go ahead and book our fast passes. The other thing that we had to work out is which fast passes we actually wanted to go ahead and book, which is kind of complicated really. I don't know about you guys, but we have particular rides that we like. We really love dark rides. Dark rides are our favorite, and in the Magic Kingdom those rides are really popular, so it's really good to go ahead and book those on Fast Pass Pluses. What's weird though, in Hollywood Studios, our favorite ride, one of our favorite experiences, and Hollywood Studios has a lot of shows, but one of our favorite experiences is the Great Movie Ride. But according to touringplans.com, which is where I got a lot of my information about this, not many people book fast passes for the Great Movie Ride. And you can kind of understand why that is. That ride manages to fit on a lot of people in an hour. So you can understand that it might not be so necessary to go ahead and do that. So we've actually taken our Fast Pass Pluses from that day and we're going to put them onto different experiences, even though the Great Movie Ride is something that, is one of the top list things that we want to go ahead and do. Another thing we had to take into consideration is we have early morning magic for Fantasyland in the Magic Kingdom for one of those days. 3 rides are going to be open to us and the few other people that have managed to get tickets for early morning magic in Fantasyland on that day. And those are the Magical Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Peter Pan's Flight, and the Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. And because we're going to be able to ride those rides so many times in the early morning magic, we're not going to book those rides on Fast Pass Plus, even though the Peter Pan's Flight is perhaps, I think, the most Fast Pass Plus ride in the Magic Kingdom according to touringplans.com. If you are going to go ahead and make Fast Pass Pluses soon, you might want to check out touringplans.com's list of the most popular Fast Pass Plus the most Fast Pass Plus rides, so that you can make decisions about which ones you really need to go ahead and do. I'm going to check my notes quickly, but Fantasmic was big, as well as Toy Story in Hollywood Studios. The Tower of Terror is also big, but I'm terrified of the dropping, so I don't go on it. In Epcot, Soaring is obviously one of the big ones. I think Mission Space is another big one too. The Frozen ride opened yesterday, actually, so I think that probably will become the most Fast Pass Plus ride. I'm certainly thinking of Fast Pass Plusing it for every single day that I'm going to be at Epcot. In the Magic Kingdom, I said earlier, Peter Pan is a big one, Winnie the Pooh is another big one, and Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, as well as all of the mountains, the Space Mountain, Splash Mountain, they get a lot of Fast Plus hits too. And in Animal Kingdom, the safaris generally get a lot of Fast Pass Pluses, so you want to watch those as well. Talking about the safaris actually reminds me of something else. Some rides look different at night as they do in the day. And obviously Animal Kingdom this year is opening late. So Animal Kingdom during the summer is going to be open till 11. And they have a whole load of experiences in the nighttime, which seem to be really quite cool. So for Kilimanjaro Safaris, we're going to actually book 2 fast passes across 2 different days. One to do during the day and the other one to do during the night. But that also reminds me about another caveat that I've read about Fastpass Plus. When you book your 3 Fastpass Pluses for the day, you're only allowed to book more Fastpass Pluses in the park when you've used all those 3 up, or the time of your 3rd Fastpass has elapsed. So for instance, if I book one at 11, I book one at 2, and then one again at 3, I can then book more Fastpasses after I've done the Fastpass that I have between 3 and 4, or I can wait till 4 p.m. to lapse and then I can go ahead and book another Fastpass. So this makes me a little bit worried about those times when we are going to book Fastpass Plus for later on in the day. We have a dining package for Fantasmic as well, but we want to see it twice just so that we can compare, but also just so that we can make sure that we see everything, I guess. So we want to book Fantasmic, that's one nighttime Fastpass Plus. We want to book Kilimanjaro Safaris at night, which is another. And I want to book the Jungle Book. I want to book the Jungle Cruise at night as well. I've been going to Disney parks for a really long time, since I think I was 2 or 3 years old. And it actually wasn't till very recently that I went on the Jungle Cruise at night, and I didn't realize how different it really was. Disneyland in California was my first experience of this, and they had a few extra bits and pieces, some really amazing lights, and I think that was the first time I saw the piranhas, but I think they're in that whole ride now. So rather annoyingly, my camera actually died when I was doing this recording a couple of days ago, so I'm actually past my Fastpass booking experience now, but we're just, for the sake of ending this video, we're just going to pretend that that hasn't happened at all. So the last few things I wanted to tell you about before my camera died was that in some of the parks there are Tier 1 and Tier 2 rides and experiences that you can book with Fastpass Plus. So I think that's in Hollywood Studios and in... it's Epcot. But every 3 Fastpass Pluses that you can book for those days, you can only book 1 Tier 1 ride and you can book 2 Tier 2 rides. Now I'm guessing if you wanted to book all 3 as Tier 2 rides, that's okay, you can go ahead and do that. As I said, the camera died, so this is actually after the experience, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to say I'm really excited about booking Fastpass Pluses tonight, and it's gonna be great. We don't know what's gonna happen, except we do, and I will inform you guys all about the experience in 2 days time, which is really today, straight after. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching. I'm at This Natasha on all the social media channels that I use, and I hope you'll come back to this channel for more vids about Disney World planning and all of the excitement as we're getting ready to go towards the end of August. Thanks, bye.